You're here because you want that good old-fashioned film look. Dehancer reached out to me a few weeks back asking if I wanted to try out their new software. I'm not getting paid by them to make this review, I'm just getting a free trial. Let's just jump straight to it. To use this software, you need to have some basic color grading skills. Not a lot, just a little bit. You need to know how to grade your footage from this to this. If you're not filming in log, this won't be an issue for at all, and you can just jump straight to the Dehancer software. Say you're like me, you're filming in S-Log Cine and you have your shot in your timeline just like this. First thing you want to do is drag down the lift, the shadows, and the gamma, the midtones. And if you expose correctly, you don't have to change much on your gain or your highlights. So now that you added contrast to your shot, you'd want to add a little bit more of saturation because you want some more color to it. So you bump up the saturation just a little bit. Also in this shot, I wanted to have it a bit cooler, so I adjusted the temperature a tiny bit. Don't worry about this shot not looking great. You don't need it because we're gonna do most of our editing in the actual tool. And now it's time to add the Dehancer effect. They have a great setting here where you can actually choose what kind of camera you filmed with, what kind of settings you used, and what ISO you were using. This is a great feature, and I love that they're actually taking into consideration what kind of camera you're using. So in my case, I'm adding the FX3, the S-Log Cine, and 640 ISO. This is where they missed a little bit because when you're filming in S-Log Cine on the FX3, the base ISO is actually 800, not 640. So Dehancer needs to get that straight, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. You got that one down, and now it's up to you to choose what kind of color profile or what kind of film look you're going for. I really like Kodachrome, so I just choose that from this list. Now you can tell that the shot is kind of reddish, so I would like to change that a little bit and make it a bit less red. You can already tell that we got this kind of film look to it, but we would want to make some changes to it. In my opinion, it's too grainy. You might want to go for as grainy of a shot as this, but I don't really want that. I'm going more for the colors than I'm going for the grain. So there are a lot of settings here, and you have to enable them to actually start using them. If you want to change the exposure of the shot, you can do that here. You can change the whites or the highlights of the shot, or the black points, which is kind of the shadows. So from now on, you don't have to use the color wheels that we were using in the beginning at all. You can only use the Dehancer tool. And because the film look is not one specific one, but more the style, it's really up to you and up to me what we're going for here. So I'm just gonna play around here to see what I like best. And you can play around with this forever, obviously. When you're playing around with all these tools, it's easy to go wrong. Dehancer is just making it easier not to go wrong. Now you can still see that I have a lot of grain. And this part is important because you have to go down to the grain and you have to deselect the preset that's already there and choose custom. And then you can actually choose yourself how much of grain you want in your shot. If you're going for the film look, you might want to have some of the grain, obviously. But like I told you before, I'm more interested in the colors than I am in the actual grain. What I really like about the Dehancer tool here is that you can actually use it as a color grading tool. It's not just offering a film look, but it's also offering simple color grading. And when you have your look ready and you're happy with it, you can actually export this as a LUT, and you can use it on your camera if you want to film these kind of shots with a purpose. In addition to this tool, Dehancer also has an app for your phone. The way I would use this would be for my stories, because sometimes I really enjoy having more of a grainy shot on my stories on Instagram. And so just choosing a simple preset and saving it would be ideal for me in this case. So overall, my experience with Dehancer was great. I did not really have any bad things to say about it. I was struggling a bit in the beginning to actually understand how it worked, how to install it, how to use it. And there were a lot of technical stuff that I had to read through, and I didn't really understand the layout. But as soon as I got it in there and I started playing around with the settings, it was fine. So if you're a filmmaker, you know what you're going for, but you don't really feel like spending hours color grading, this is probably a great tool for you. And if you want to try it out, you'll get a 10% discount by using the link below. So go check it out, or not. I like it, and I'm gonna use it in the future.